who haven't been paying much attention to this case as others, allow us to provide you with a quick recap of all that's been going on between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Depp and Heard were once married, but it didn't last very long, and a very big divorce case happened after. Things seemed to end amicably after they reached a settlement and delivered a statement together about their marriage. However, Amber Heard then went on and did an op-ed article in the Washington Post and accused Johnny Depp of being a wife beater, and said that she was the face of the movement in regards to victims speaking out against their abuse. Johnny Depp defiantly denied this and sued both her and the various news articles that went about saying that this was true, as they were attempting to slander his name by accusing him of abuse when there was actually no proof of him doing so. Since then, the case has been going on, and there have been a lot of twists and turns, including Depp's lining up basically every major past relationship he's had outside of Amber Heard, obviously, to talk about his character, and Amber Heard throwing every accusation in the book to try and trip up Johnny Depp and paint him as the villain in the situation. While public opinion was originally with Amber Heard, it's now entirely swaying Johnny's way, especially in light of recent evidence and testimony, including some new things coming out very recent, including some body cam footage from various police officers stating that Amber Heard's claims of Johnny Depp being violent towards her and their penthouse was entirely false. But one of the more interesting elements of the story comes from the parents of Amber Heard, especially her father. Her dad's threats. According to the legal documents obtained by The Blast, David Kilalaki claims he did work on both Amber and Johnny's classic cars. Specifically, he made several modifications to Amber Heard's classic Mustang. After the couple split, he claims that Amber Heard became abusive towards him and her father, making death threats towards Johnny Depp in a phone call to him. Kilalaki, who owns Performance Allison Transmissions, has been featured on episodes of Jay Leno's Garage and Overhauling. A declaration by David was filed in the defamation case filed in Virginia by Johnny Depp against Amber Heard. In his documents, Kilalaki states, "The reply I received what can only be described as an extreme hostile response from Amber. I did my best to convey her that I did not wish to get in the middle of the dispute between her and Mr. Depp. She did not receive this information very well. Her first reaction was to verbally abuse me with explicit threats and a continued rant over what she claimed was an unfortunate financial downturn of her personal finances caused by Mr. Depp. At one point she said, 'You mother effer, you're screwing me.' This apparently went on for many conversations, and eventually it ended up being tied to her father. In the legal filing, he claims that he then had a conversation with Amber Heard's father that turned threatening. During the attempt to facilitate the repairs, modifications, and additions to the Mustang, I received many text messages and phone calls from Amber's father, Mr. David Heard. After the separation of Amber and Mr. Johnny Depp, Mr. Heard became very bitter towards Johnny Depp, he claimed. During a phone call with Amber's dad, he stated, Mr. Heard said, 'That effing piece of is effing me too, because I'm supposed to get 10% of the money, and without it, I can't produce the movie I was gonna make. And he is running my baby girl's career and blackballing her in Hollywood.' He says, Mr. Heard continued, 'And when I get to him, I'm going to beat the out of him. And I'm from Texas, and men from Texas carry 45s, and Johnny is going to meet the effing end of mine.'" Johnny Depp and his lawyer's response. Naturally, Johnny Depp's legal team responded to this with the following. Mr. Kilalaki's chilling first-hand experience with Amber Heard and her family exposes the motive behind Amber Heard's hoax: money. Money is why Amber Heard moved her sister and her 4 other co-conspirators into Johnny Depp's multi-million-dollar penthouses rent-free. Money is why Amber Heard chopped Mr. Depp's finger off with a thrown vodka bottle the day his attorneys asked her to sign a post-prenuptial agreement. He continues, "Money is why Amber Heard ambushed Mr. Depp with hoax the day he informed her that he was divorcing her. Money is why Amber Heard's PR legal team sent Mr. Depp an extortion letter prior to placing her hoax on the cover of People magazine. Money is why Amber Heard's father threatened to kill Johnny Depp." He makes a compelling point, and it's pretty fair to say that people have done more for much less, but this also points to a certain trait within the Heard family, which leads us to anger and abuse. The old expression goes, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And in the case of Amber Heard's family, that might just be the case. Amber Heard may just like to paint herself as someone who goes and does nice things for some people, but especially through this court case, we can see that this isn't really true. She's been shown and proven to be a liar, a manipulator, and someone who was caught on audio recording, shouting at Mr. Depp after hitting him and actually trying to convince him that she wasn't hitting him in the first place. This is the kind of anger that can now be traced back to her father, because whether he was drunk or not, it's irrelevant. What's relevant is the fact that he felt the urge to go and call up a mechanic, threaten him, and then say to them that they were going to go on and kill Johnny Depp. That doesn't just happen. you have to have a certain something to go and do that. And apparently, David Heard gave the same anger and aggression to Amber. And yet, quite ironically, he might also be the reason that Amber is proven guilty of lying and other things due to how he texted Johnny Depp once. The text. A key thing that the court demanded of both sides during the initial parts of the defamation case was more in-depth communication logs. And what we mean by this was emails, texts, and so on. Because as we all know, what you may not say in person, you might say in text. Sure enough, some curious texts have popped up concerning Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's father, David. In these texts that were from 2016, for the record, when the claims about Amber Heard first started, that were from Johnny Depp to Johnny, cussing him out or ripping into him for his daughter, they were to check on how Johnny was doing. In the text that were to follow, Johnny notes to David that he never hurt Amber, and yet Amber has been arrested for assault before, which she has, including against her very own former partner. But what is actually really interesting is that David all but confirms that Amber Heard lied about those claims because she was fighting to keep a penthouse. Her father told her that her lawyer told her she had to or she would have no place to live in 30 days. That sounds pretty definitive, don't you think? But because her father was admitting to Johnny Depp that there was no but a ploy so that she could live in a penthouse, Johnny Depp responded with how much bull it was, and yet he still wishes the father well, as he happened to be in the hospital during this time, showing that he had no ill will to the father, just to Amber for what she was trying to do. Which brings us back to the father, who actually apologizes to Johnny Depp about it all, reiterating that it was the lawyer's plan to allow Amber to stay in the penthouse, and even notes that he wishes he wasn't in the hospital, that he could do something, step in, and stop it. He further goes on to note that Amber found out that he and Johnny were still talking and that she told him to F off. And as he continued, he wanted Johnny and Amber to talk it out and get around the restraining order so that things could be resolved. At this point, you should be hearing the major issues with these texts. It has to do with what the father is not doing in these texts. He's not accusing him of hurting Amber Heard at all. In fact, he's telling them that he's sorry for what she's been doing. That is the stark contrast from what we heard in the text. Probably because, as some have noted, the rant against the mechanic was about money, not the actual abuse. In these texts, he knew that Johnny was fully aware of what had happened and what didn't happen, and so that's why there was probably some shift in tone. But why is the father lying? Well, the mother's text. In similar texts, also from 2016, Amber's mother, Paige, sent texts to Johnny and stated that she and him are 100% solid and that she's just a pawn in a game. I don't want to play that game. She also wishes Johnny lots of love and actually wishes for a do-over of that year that was, referring to the 1 year that Depp and Amber Heard were married. Paige also went into many texts stating that the lawyers were to blame for Amber Heard crying for about Johnny Depp. Who says this to a person who allegedly their daughter? One knows the truth. Amber is guilty and she is just trying to pin herself to be the victim. And there's a lot more evidence and text that indeed put this in light.